Good morning, everyone, and welcome into this day with Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, whomever you love, and whatever your faith tradition, you are welcome here. My name is Erie, and today is our bridging service, or adulting service, celebrating this rite of passage as a community together of us as we pass into young adulthood. I'd like to begin this service by acknowledging that the water, land, and shorelines here in Port Townsend are the traditional territory of the S'Klallam and Chimicum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our Indigenous members and neighbors and vow to help restore and sustain their homelands. As we call in our time together, let us settle our minds and calm our hearts with the ringing of our chime. I am glad to be with you today.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair, ours is no caravan, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair, ours is no caravan, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, wanderer, caravan, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Thank you. Please join me now in our chalice lighting words. They were written by Wendell Berry. We clasp the hands of those that go before us, and the hands of those who come after us. We enter the little circle of each other's arms, and the larger circle of lovers, whose hands are joined in a dance, and the larger circle of all creatures passing in and out of life, who move also in a dance, to a music so subtle and vast that no one hears it except in fragments.
There's a problem with this. It's too short to pick up.
It's dug into the socks.
Oh. Okay. Our opening words are by Jean Olson. May you be brave enough to expose your aching woundedness and reveal your vulnerability. May you speak your deepest truths, knowing that they will change as you do. May you sing the music within you, composing your own melody, singing your song with all your heart. May you draw, paint, sculpt, and sew, showing the world your vision. May you write letters, poetry, biography, slogans, graffiti, the great novel, laying bare your words to love and hate. May you love even though your heart breaks again and again. And until the end of your days, may your life be filled with possibilities and courage.
Good morning, everyone. Appropriately, this is Maybe by Kobe Yamada and illustrated by Gabriella Brioche. Have you ever wondered why you're here? You are the only you there has ever been or ever will be, and you have so much to offer. Maybe you will invent something that no one has ever seen before. Maybe you will build things that reach high into the sky. Your life is yours. Try as many things as you can try and see as much as you can see. Wherever you go, take your hopes, pack your dreams, and never forget it is on journeys that discoveries are made. Maybe you will help others to see the beauty in each day. Or maybe you'll lift cheering crowds onto their feet. Do everything with love. Follow your heart and see where it leads you. Maybe you are here to shine a light into places that have been dark for far too long. Maybe you'll speak up for those who can't speak for themselves. Maybe you are here to help in ways that only you can. There will be struggles, there will be fears, and it won't always be easy. At times it will feel really hard, and you might make a mess of things. You might fall down. You may fail. But you will also get back up, and you will rise a little stronger and a little taller, because there really is more inside you than you know. And this world needs your gifts, your talents, and your big ideas. And maybe you are just getting started. What if you are only scratching the surface of what you can do and who you can be? What if you have talents you haven't discovered yet? There is something powerful, even magical, about you. You already have everything it takes to do big things. Maybe you just have no idea how good it really can be. And maybe you don't know how much you matter. But maybe, just maybe, the world has been waiting centuries for someone exactly like you. One thing for sure is that you are here, and because you are here, anything is possible.
Thank you, Bo. What we'd like to do now is acknowledge and welcome those of you who are visiting us this morning. You are invited to say hello in the comment section and tell us your name and where you're from. The chat section can be found below on the right side of the video when it is out of full screen, and we'd love to hear from you. So welcome everyone, and we're glad you're with us today. We will now receive the offering, which today goes to support the Center Valley Animal Rescue. CVAR is committed to providing safe harbor and rehabilitation for unwanted, injured, or abandoned domesticated and wild animals, thereby decreasing the number of unnecessary euthanasias performed. CVAR believes all creatures have inherent value, a right to life, and are entitled to have their basic needs met in a kind and caring manner. CVAR is dedicated to finding loving homes for all adoptable animals in its care and offers permanent sanctuary to the domestic animals that cannot be adopted. CVAR also performs rehabilitation and release of wild animals. If you'd like to donate today, you have 3 options. Text the amount you'd like to give to the number now showing on the bottom of the screen. Go to our website, quuuf.org, and click on the giving link, or simply mail a check to QUUF. Just remember to put Center Valley in the memo line. We will now gratefully receive your offering as we listen to Aimee Ringle sing How Could Anyone?
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Thank you, Aimee. To remember that next Sunday, June 12th, is the date of our annual meeting. It will take place between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock on Zoom. Information on voting has already been sent to eligible members. If you have any questions, please contact the office. We will now share our joys and sorrows, recognizing that our personal joys and sorrows are only a fragment of the joys and sorrows of the larger community of life. And thus we place this first stone, thinking in particular of the days, weeks, months, and years that we've not been able to be together, especially for our youth who have had a tough time getting through this, as have we all, but especially our youth. And now within the congregation, we light a memorial candle for Lyudmila Menshikov, beloved mother. With deep heartache, Connie Ross announces the stillborn birth of her great niece, Kate Emily, 13 days prior to her happily anticipated due date of June 10th. Kate Emily died from cardiac damage due to her mother's COVID infection. We place this stone for her and her deeply grieving parents and family. And with joy, we celebrate Quentin Wald's 102nd birthday that was on June 4th. We wish you many, many more years, Quentin. You are an inspiration to all of us. And a happy birthday to Nancy Sendler, who is celebrating her birthday today, June 5th. Happy birthday, Nancy. Stone. And now we place a final stone, holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows I've just shared, but also thinking of such joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed but of no less importance. I invite you now into a moment of silence.
Firstly, let me just say I'm really grateful for your presence here today and for your presence in my life every day. This journey, as has been true the last couple of years, is a particularly successful and challenging one, I would say, for all of us, being that our lives have been different than we may have anticipated, and our ceremonies are changed from what they would typically be. When we do bridging, we gather in community to honor and celebrate the transition of young people. And today we are honoring the transition of 8 young people as they move into adulthood. We are blessed to have their strands woven into our community, forever enriching us with their spirits. 4 of them come before you today, and 4 of them we honor outside of the service. As a Unitarian Universalist bridging ceremony, this is a celebration of the blossoming of adulthood, and it is not a farewell. This is our duty and honor to celebrate them and recognize each whole and worthy person, to applaud their successes thus far, and wish them happiness and satisfaction in what is to come. It is to make sure that they know that we are here for them, whether they stay close or go far from here, and that we take seriously our responsibility to you. This ritual also celebrates the dedication of this religious community to provide a spiritual home for our children and our youth. And we recognize the love of parents and families, the commitment of teachers and advisors, and the contributions of time, money, and support of every single one of you. It takes all of us. This particular troop of bridgers are activists, environmentalists, artists, sisters, brothers, siblings, partners, procrastinators, empaths, and friends. They are generous, thoughtful, funny, smart, strong, and worthy people. For me personally, I have been truly honored to know and love you and be part of your paths, and I'm excited for your futures. Together, we express our pride to you, Sam, Grace, Lochlan, and Macy, who are not participating in the ceremony today and are cherished members of our community, as well as Mo, Indigo, Erie, and Jeannette, in what you have already accomplished in life and what we know you will rise to in the future. We celebrate your presence among us and in the world. We celebrate the union of people who built this particular bridge you now cross, and this community that you enrich with your presence. Our bridgers will now share about where they are in their lives as they enter into adulthood in our community. Jeannette.
Thank you, Bo. Growing up in a small town, I've learned about the benefits of a strong community. The positive impact of familiar smiles and waves is immeasurable. As I reflect on my time in Port Townsend and how this community has shaped me, I value the sense of security that this safe haven has provided. Growing up in a small town and coming of age in an era in which there is a great deal of uncertainty and unrest in our country and world, this place has felt reassuring and supportive. As I prepared to embark on my upcoming journeys, I realized that it's time for me to face the larger world and serve meaningful purposes. Many of the morals that are most important to me, like compassion and service, I have learned through Unitarian Universalism. I have never met a more welcoming and inclusive crowd than the members of UU that always made me feel at home, made me feel listened to, and befriended me. Whether I was interacting with Unitarian Universalists that I'd known for virtually my entire life, or individuals that I'd known for hardly an hour, they all shared similar non-judgmental personas. Throughout the pandemic, when most gatherings needed to be virtual, it was heartening to see the creative ways that the UU communities that I'm a part of designed virtual events that were still meaningful and offered time for me to explore my faith and meet Unitarian Universalists of varying ages from around the country. Here at Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, I have countless fond memories from the holiday parties, mystery pals, youth and mentor programs, OWL, and of course youth groups where we'd eat dinner together, laugh, exchange stories, and have a joyful oasis away from the stress of day-to-day life. By being immersed and guided in these groups throughout my youth and teen years, I have become inspired and discovered the ways in which I strive to carry myself and interact with my peers. I hope to keep Unitarian Universalism with me throughout my entire life, and it is beyond reassuring knowing that QUUF will remain here in my hometown with open doors and open arms to greet me and support me when I visit home to reground myself. As I recall my time being involved with events and services here at QUF, it is important to note that this fellowship has helped me find my voice and break out of my shell. channeling a confidence within me that I doubted I was capable of possessing. With the encouragement and welcoming spirits of the people here in this community, I lost much of the timid reluctance that I once had for public speaking and leadership. I am so grateful that I was able to find ease in something which once intimidated me, thanks to this place and these people. In addition to my time here at QUF, I have valued my many years dancing at Lingwei's dance studio, an artistic outlet for me to express myself and challenge myself. I am also thankful for the opportunities to experience nature that I've had in this place with a diverse landscape. Appreciating and protecting nature is a core value that I've learned from my family, with both of my parents directing environmental nonprofit organizations, and they've inspired me to do my part in preserving and repairing this planet and its inhabitants. I've thoroughly enjoyed my experiences sailing, hiking in Olympic National Park, and conquering backpacking trips in the Pacific Northwest. I hope to do much more of it in the future. The moments when I witness the sun sliding behind forested peaks, followed by a sky that becomes blanketed with constellations, I feel most content and satisfied. As I cross this bridge from childhood to adulthood and step out into the world, I will be pursuing my goals in Tacoma, Washington. Here, I will be studying environmental policy and decision-making at the University of Puget Sound. I hope to spend my future years meeting people who will join me as I work to find the good in this world and contribute to mending the bad aspects. Even when it feels difficult, I choose to remain hopeful for my generation and future generations. I'm so grateful for everything that this community has offered me, and to all of you, thank you for everything.
Hello, my name is Indigo. I've been a member of QUUF since I was 6 years old. As a senior, this time in my life is quite literally a huge shifting point in my life. Not only am I bridging, but I am also moving from the Olympic Peninsula, the place I have called home since birth. When I look back on my life here in Port Townsend, I ponder upon all of the colorful memories that have filled my mind and warmed my heart. Whenever I reminisce, I always remember the uncountable hours of laughter and adventures in time with my friends. I've always loved exploring diverse food, road trips, sunbathing, art, music, exploring mysteries, and taking walks out in nature, basking in my thoughts, and appreciating the vast glory of the world and the beauty that surrounds us. I see myself as a carefree and wide-eyed girl, ready to see the vast world and what it has in store for me. Always seeing the bright side, I am one of the most optimistic and easygoing people I know. I have learned to deeply appreciate and see the beauty in everything as life went on and started having disturbing experiences that deeply saddened my soul. An example of a major traumatic event for me that occurred at the early age of 7 years old was losing my uncle to a 3-year-long, increasingly growing brain tumor. To make matters even worse, my dad shamed me for feeling bad, which resulted in me feeling even worse. My dad's lack of emotional availability spiraled me into an unhealthy thought pattern. Because of both of these things, I felt depressed for a whole year. I now know that he is a father who is definitely not planning on giving me any form of healthy love. My loving mom and people around me did their best to show me safety and show me love and care. With these experiences, though, I feel like I grew a lot because of the great loss. Both physically losing someone I deeply loved and cared about and experiencing neglect from one of the people I was expecting to care for me the most. The heartache at such a young age primed me for the rest of my life, I would say. If I had not experienced struggles I dealt with along with the care of my mother in the experiences I did, I may not have otherwise grown into the person I am today, with knowledge and respect for myself and others with similar yet very unique experiences. Deep, I know. But to transition, the QUUF community needs some recognition too. First off, I would like to say thank you. UU has always had a very welcoming and positive social atmosphere. Here are some of my favorite memories with the community. It ranges from many fun and holy UU cons to Quimper Camp with bonding games, touching songs, and outdoor activities such as sitting around a campfire roasting marshmallows, to the harvest festival during autumn making race car vegetables and contesting them down the tracks. The always welcoming and bonding youth group, Why Are You You, where we share stories, talk about life's ups and downs, and consider the possibilities of what's next for us in our chapters of life. All of these things have made up the well-rounded experience I have with you. Thank you for making it such a nice one. A little about my future. The general plan I have right now is to live on my own for around a year on my parents' property. I will get a temporary job and save money. I plan on joining AmeriCorps and or get a job right away after that from training or trade, a tech program. I will choose between culinary or cosmetology. I'm considering opening my own business so I can make a profit and possibly work with actors doing their hair and makeup. I am looking forward to my future and seeing where life takes me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erie.
All right. On my birthday, my mom, when she can remember, will wake me up at 4:44 in the morning to tell me exactly what I put her through at 4 in the morning so many years ago. In 12 days, at 4:44 in the morning, I am going to be an adult. All the assignments and activities that I missed out on or never finished don't really seem all that important now, because in 10 days, none of that will really affect me ever again. 10 days is graduation. I forgot to clarify that. I've spent my whole life wondering what comes next, and this year is the first time when that wondering is exciting, not terrifying. 12 years of work and waiting leads to 12 more days of childhood. There lies the question, how do I fill the next 50 to 80 years of my life? I would like to say that my one true calling is to be a chef, or a painter, or something grand like that. But I think my only purpose is to learn. I truly think that having this sort of community around me gives me the confidence to keep growing as a person, knowing that everyone who is part of the congregation will accept me as I am. Someone who loves to create, who loves to provide for the people around me, and who only wants to be curious.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Mo Wolf, and I am one of the youth bridging here at QUUF. I remember 4 years ago emerging from middle school to high school and becoming a part of YRUU. It was amazing, and there were so many older youth to look up to and connect with. There were cons, there was food, there was family, and it felt so amazing to me. I remember attending my first bridging con and feeling so much warmth and excitement for when I could go to con and bridge. But little did I know that was never going to happen. Little did I know that my time at an in-person youth group would soon come to an end, similar to every other important social aspect of my life, and become virtualized. I feel like I had a very backwards young adult life. I had a great and adventurous middle school experience and a very crummy and disappointing high school experience. That's not to say that it's all been bad, though. I've met some amazing people, especially at QUUF. And I would like to thank the amazing Bo Olgren, who I met 6 years ago. Not through QUUF, but because I needed someone to reach out to. And Bo was the first person to do that. I remember meeting him on a cold November afternoon at Sunrise Coffee and talking to him, and remember thinking, this is exactly the person I want to be when I grow up. His impact on me as being such a kind and understanding person really inspired me to become a part of QUUF, and I am so glad I did. I remember joining the middle school RE, which is religious education, and at the time I was in the early stages of my gender transition. And I remember meeting Kathy Stevenson, who at the time was the director of family ministry. She was so kind and understanding of my situation and made sure that the church used my correct name and pronouns for me, and at the time that was so important. I wasn't sure what to expect from the religious education, but it was so amazing. It wasn't like the youth groups I've heard where they yell scripture at you, but it was so accepting and diverse. I felt so lucky to be able to learn about so many different faiths and religions, and my most favorite thing we did in RE was go and visit different worship sites. We went to a Baptist church, a mosque, and a Buddhist monastery. I remember connecting so deeply with the practice of Zen Buddhism and meditation and the philosophies they practiced. My whole life I have struggled with anxiety, not just social anxiety, but more anxiety of believing that something terrible was going to happen to me in the future. I am honestly struggling with this now more than ever, especially on the emerge of adulthood. But I always try to go back to those philosophies that I learned, to breathe and live in the moment, and not to worry too much about the future or think about the past. I believe that learning and being educated about these different religions has allowed me to think about and ponder my own beliefs and morals a lot. I really did enjoy RE a lot, but I also enjoyed the church services a lot as well. So after every RE class, I would go right back to the sanctuary and watch the second service, and I would like to thank my mother for sitting through and watching 2 services with me. At the time, Trump was elected president, and I was very scared for my and everybody else's future. I remember watching many of the UUs attend Standing Rock, and I was having a lot of hope. I knew that this church was full of resilient activists like myself. I found so much hope in attending these services, and it did more for my mental health than therapy did, truly. Then my time in RE was coming to an end, and I would be going to high school youth group, stands for YRUU. I was very excited for this change. I was excited to meet with older youth, do the youth service, and go to cons. I will never forget the first con I attended. It was amazing, and I had no idea that humanity could do that. Now, if you are not familiar with a con, I will explain it to you. Con is a semi-annual event where the Pacific Western region of UUs ages 14 to 18 get together for a weekend at the Camp Cispus, which is located in the mountains near Mount St. Helens. Here we meet, we play games, sing songs, have caucuses, workshops, and a no-talent show, and most importantly, worship. Worship was my most favorite part of con, and it always was my dream to lead it one day, but that sadly never got to happen. In the fall, we would have a con and a worship in a big room and circle around a giant stand full of candles that people would bring a candle the first time they went to con. And it was so powerful to see everyone's candles create such a large flame. And to me, that was a metaphor of UUism itself. The worships that I attended were so intense, impactful, and reflective, and I enjoyed them so much. In the spring, we would gather outside in the woods and sing songs and have worship, and I would do anything to do that one last time. I felt the most sense of community in my life at these moments. These kind, amazing people who believed in truth, justice, and meaning, all meeting in one spot. It was amazing. Sadly, the last con I have ever experienced was in fall of my 10th grade year. I was sad, but very hopeful that it would return, and it did virtually. It was not the same experience, but it was still great to be able to meet together and have the experience, but then unfortunately con was no longer, and it was very sad, but I knew that it would be an ending, but also a beginning. So although I will not be attending another con, I will be attending my first General Assembly this June. So my story of connecting with UUism and activism will grow and continue. But I'm very excited for that first experience because I know it will be amazing. I remember entering 9th grade and being so excited for everything to come. I was going to Paris, to Los Angeles, to record with my band. I was in clubs, I had dances, I had everything ahead of me, but unfortunately, not very many of those things happened. I had to deal with a pandemic, being at home, learning through a screen, losing people close to me, losing friendships, and increasingly dealing with a deteriorating mental state. It was very, very hard and traumatizing on me, and I will not be the same as I was before that. I see a lot of people coming out of the pandemic rejoicing, having parties, going to festivals, but for me, it hasn't been that way at all. I have to mourn and grieve because I don't think I can or will ever go back to that life again. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I feel like my life is just going in a different direction than I thought, and that's okay. I had thought that by this age I would be accepted into a 4-year university, know how to drive, and know what I was going to do for the rest of my life, but that's not how it is right now. The current state of the world has affected me to no end. The unlivable price of rent, the low minimum wage, the crippling debt of student loans, the increasing threat on civil rights, the rising seas, the burning forests, the shooting, this world is becoming terrifying for us. The idea of going to college for 4 years, getting a job, retiring, and dying sounds dystopian. I may not be going to college this year, or know exactly what job I'm going to have, but I have dreams. I know I want my future work to be activism work. I want to stand up for this way of living that we have. I want to inspire other people. I want to create hope and peace in the world in any way that I can. So if you know any jobs that are hiring that do that, please let me know. My life growing up was not easy, and I don't expect it to get any easier. But I know that I'm a strong person, and I believe in myself. Even if no one else does, I will always believe in myself. I don't know what is going to happen this year with my life, but I trust that I'll figure it out. My bridge to adulthood has been a rocky one, but I have my whole life ahead of me, and I promise that I will make the most out of it. I will miss a lot from this community, from this church, and from this town. But in case you haven't noticed, I have sort of exiled myself from Port Townsend recently. This has been for personal reasons, but it has helped me a lot. I've been doing school from home, and I'm really reflecting and finding myself, and I feel each day I'm making progress. I am absolutely terrified of the future, but also in that fear I find some excitement, and I find that beautiful. Thank you so much to QUUF for giving me a safe and amazing place to be able to find myself and become who I am today. I don't know what I would do without you.
Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar, fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like "when you're older" must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town, and they tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet to slow the circle down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years spin by, and now the child is 20, though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true. There'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams, and plenty, before the last revolving year is through. They go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game.
And now it is my privilege and pleasure, on behalf of the congregation, to present each of you with a chalice as a token of our love and care for you, and the wish that your future life be rewarding. We are blessed by your presence and are honored to celebrate you today. So, Bridgers, will you please come forward? Now, Bridgers, please receive this blessing. May the flame of your chalice always represent for you a renewal of your faith in holiness, goodness, and the beauty of life. May it always be for you a reaffirmation of the way of the open mind and the full heart. And may this flame always recall for you the deep wish of this congregation that your life may be filled to overflowing with love and joy. Amen, so may it be. And now please join us in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, or the power of transformation. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you. After the service, I hope you'll join us for our virtual coffee hour. What you can expect is to be placed in a Zoom room with a coffee hour host who will facilitate a personal check-in along with reflection questions on today's bridging service. I hope to see you there. And first, we will turn our attention to Peter Mayer, who will now perform our postlude, Blue Boat Home.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep. drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue